Phil Spencer has a new interview. We have lots of information that has come out of that interview, so we will take a look at that. He talks about the future of unannounced IPs. He's excited about the Nintendo Switch 2, which is not surprising. I believe Xbox is going to support that, plus other things he does go over. The Oblivion Remaster, pretty funny story. We talked about this yesterday, of course, but it looks like we have the actual date that was given accidentally by Microsoft, so we will take a look at that. Doom: The Dark Ages coming out in May. Xbox has announced a bunch of special edition style of things, controller, wrap, all that. So it looks very cool. I'll show that off to you. And then there's a big Xbox update for April that is coming in. One of the biggest things that is coming has to do with the Xbox app. So we'll go over everything that is involved in that update. So a new game has been announced, more information on the Outer Worlds 2, and PlayStation and PlayStation Plus, they are changing their prices once more, not for the better. So we will talk about all of that. But before we do continue, if you enjoy daily gaming news content, staying up to date about everything in the gaming industry, make sure to hit the subscribe, share the video, like it. Many of you who watch are not subscribed. Every morning, 8 a.m., you'll see me here talking to you and letting you know what is going on in the industry. But for now, let's get into it. So Game Pass is a very good service. It is the best deal in gaming. And if from what we just saw from the most recent announcement for Game Pass right now, especially with everything happening economically, times are hard, money is tight for a lot of people. You can't really get a better deal here than Xbox Game Pass to be able to go in and just play video games. There's a great catalog of games to jump into. And of course, if you're on Game Pass Ultimate, you get things like their games day one into the service. But of course, Game Pass isn't for everybody. This is nothing new. This isn't something that I think is a revelation for anybody, but Phil Spencer discusses this, and it has to do with things that we've talked about and many people have talked about, is that Game Pass isn't for people that just want to play one or two games and just play those games throughout the entire year. But he was in a new interview here, goes over a bunch of things, and here is what he says about Game Pass. He was speaking with Variety and specifically talking about who this service is for. He says, "For me, I look at Game Pass as a healthy option for certain people. It's not for everybody. If you play one or two games a year, Game Pass probably isn't the right business model for you. You should just buy those two games, and that would make total sense. But I want you to have the choice. So we remain focused on everything that's on Game Pass is also available to buy. We're making those games available to buy in more places." And that is a question that always comes up, is does Game Pass destroy sales for a lot of games? And yes, it does cannibalize sales to some extent. And I think we definitely have seen numbers on that, but not to the extent that it destroys a game's success. In fact, Game Pass has been very good at bringing games to prominence and helping them grow and get a lot of players. Like, for example, Adamfall, which just came out, I think Game Pass has really helped push that game to a lot of people, breaking the 2 million player mark, which I think the game would have done okay without Game Pass, but I feel like the service that sells for the marketing and everything, it gets people to know about a game they may have not played, especially when it releases in a time where there are just tons of other major AAA games that are coming out. We've also seen the fact that they purchased ABK. Talks about here putting games in more places, and it's because he wants to give people the option whether they want to go subscription or whether they want to go out and purchase the game. And then if you have Game Pass, you get a discount on those games. But I think a lot of this comes down to the fact that ABK was purchased and they have to make their money back, which pretty much pushed Xbox to put their first-party games onto the PlayStation 5 and going forward to the Nintendo Switch. It's a good strategy for their business, as we've seen on the sales charts. Xbox games on PlayStation doing very well. Sea of Thieves did very well. Forza Horizon 5 was at the top. Indiana Jones was at the top. And you're going to see people on those platforms playing those games. The other platform that Xbox games will be landing on is the Nintendo Switch 2. In fact, Phil Spencer talks about how he is a big believer in Nintendo. This isn't the first time. There was even that email that went around during the ABK acquisition that he wanted to purchase Nintendo. I don't know how serious he was, but that was something that did come out there. But again, this is speaking with Variety, and he says, "We've been supporting the Switch 1. I want to support the Switch 2. Nintendo has been a great partner, and we think it is a unique way for us to reach players who aren't PC players, who aren't players on Xbox. It lets us continue to grow our community of people that care about the franchises that we have. And that's really important for us to make sure we continue to invest in our games." Continues here and says, "I'm really a big believer in what Nintendo means for this industry, and us continuing to support them and getting the support from them for our franchises. I think it's an important part of our future." And asked if Nintendo's unveiling made him antsy to share Xbox's own next generation of hardware plans. And Spencer has said here that he's focused on our communities and the player base that they are building out there. So obviously the Switch 2 is going to be very big for first party Xbox games. I can foresee pretty much most of their games landing onto the Nintendo Switch 2, especially if it sells anywhere near as well as the Nintendo Switch 1. There were all those rumors previous to the Switch 2 official direct on April 2nd that a game like Halo the Master Chief Collection was going to be a launch game for the Switch 2. And I think that does make a ton of sense to put that game on there. You can easily run it. You'll have a lot of people jumping in and playing it and just building out that community. That did not happen. So will we see Halo the Master Chief Collection? Will we see Halo and the next Gears and everything else coming from Xbox that is currently on the PlayStation 5? Will we see those games landing on the Nintendo Switch 2? Obviously, the big question people have are the tentpole franchises. Forza has already gone to PlayStation 5. Will IPs like Halo and Gears land on PlayStation and on the Nintendo Switch? If you take a step back and you look at Xbox's strategy and what they are doing, it does seem like they will. The Switch 2 is going to be huge for getting more people to pick up and play games, because I think Xbox games will sell very well on the Nintendo Switch 2 if they do end up bringing them over. Now, when it comes to first party content, Xbox by far this generation and this year specifically have been dominating in terms of actually providing content for people to play from first party studios. At least comparatively to PlayStation, Nintendo has done a great job too, but 2025 right now, it's been all Xbox. And they, I feel like, are the company that get their games leaked the most. I could be wrong, but it just feels like that simply because there's nonstop leaks. And we just got the leak for the Oblivion remake, which I'm sure Xbox would have loved to come out with a special announcement and just kind of surprise everybody and hope that nobody had any idea that this thing was coming. And it looks like there will be even more games coming from Xbox, but Phil Spencer talks about trying hard to avoid leaking all of Xbox's plans. Again, this is all from Variety, and he says here, "For us and the rest of this calendar year, I really feel great about the slate of games. We just had Avowed come out, and I have to go backwards and just say Obsidian continues to do a great job. We've obviously talked about The Outer Worlds 2, South of Midnight, Doom. There's more stuff, some stuff that's unannounced, and I'm walking in my head to make sure I don't leak anything." And unfortunately for Phil, I feel like one of those games in his head was the Oblivion remake. And of course, that has been completely leaked. But what else is there? I mean, you think about 2025 and we just had South of Midnight. We got Avowed. We're getting Towerborn at the end of the month. We are getting the Oblivion remake as well next week. That's basically been confirmed, just not officially by Xbox coming out with an official announcement. Then we're getting Doom in May. And then the June showcase is coming. So the second half of the year still hasn't been determined. But like, if you don't release anything else for this year and you would have taken all the games that they have put out and just spread them out throughout the year, I think that would have still been looked upon as a pretty decent year from a first party output. So to think that we've gotten all these games already in the first half, and we're going to get a bunch more in the second half with extra third party Game Pass announcements, it's an insane year. And I wonder if this is going to be able to be kept up going forward consistently, because people are going to start comparing years to 2025 and thinking if they do falter and they don't start releasing as much as they did in 2025, there will be people out there complaining and saying that Xbox is falling off and all of that, which I think right now with ABK, Bethesda, and everything that they have under their first party studios, they absolutely can. I think this may be a preview. It's just kind of how much content we will get yearly now from Xbox first party. So it's pretty exciting if you are in the ecosystem. And even if you're not, if you just enjoy their games wherever you play, it's a pretty exciting time from their output perspective. Again, one of those games that was leaked here was the Oblivion remake or remaster. I keep calling it a remake. It looks like a remake to me, but it is officially a remastered release. And we talked about the screenshots and everything that was going on. There's going to be like the different editions of it. The release date wasn't specific. They said the week of April 21st, and then some people were pointing to it was actually on April 21st. But this is pretty funny. It looks like Xbox support themselves actually leaked it as well. And they did confirm this. Something we did not have a confirmation yesterday was this is coming to Game Pass day one, which is not surprising, but that wasn't 100% confirmed in the leak. But they say this Oblivion Remaster reportedly coming to Xbox Game Pass day one at launch. And this comes via this X user, Sir Raven 18. And this is the tweet. It's pretty funny. It says, bro, what? And then he tags a bunch of people, obviously, to get it out there for people to see. But the question here is, I was wondering if the Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remaster will be available to play on cloud gaming. This is directly via the Xbox support that he's conversing with. And the response from Xbox says this: thank you for your reply, Raven. Yes, the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered will be available for cloud gaming. It is set to be released on the Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One. Additionally, it will be accessible through Xbox Game Pass, which supports cloud gaming, allowing you to play it anywhere with a compatible device and internet connection. And then they say for more details, go click on that link. And then he says, when will this game be available to play on cloud gaming? Earlier, I was told that the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remaster would be available for cloud gaming. And the response from Xbox is, the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remaster is set to be released on April 21st, 2025, and it is confirmed to be day one launch title on Xbox Game Pass, which strongly suggests that it will be available for cloud gaming through Xbox Cloud Gaming. So the Xbox support basically got tricked here, and they revealed the official release date for this game. April 21st is when this is going to be shadow dropped on everybody. It's not really a shadow drop anymore because everybody knows. So unless Xbox sees all this and just goes back on what their plans were because of all of the leaks that have come out, that's when you should expect it. He also does tweet this out saying, update today, randomly I received a message from Xbox support. I'm assuming it is in regard to the questions I had asked them yesterday about the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remaster. I tried to get a reasoning for this message with no response. Damage control ? And Xbox here just says back to him after he had gotten all of his answers, says, you're welcome, Raven. Feel free to let us know if you have any other inquiry. And then they say, thank you for sharing your concern with us. There is not any official announcement yet. We advise you to just follow Xbox official pages to get the latest info about the new game release date. So yeah, that does sound like damage control. I think people are saying that there was like an AI who was responded, but I think this is a real person. And then they are obviously realizing that they should have not have given out the information that they did. And then they're saying to just wait for official announcements. So this game is coming. And I think the leaks around this I don't know if it's going to affect the sales or the amount of people that want to play it or not. In fact, it may even be kind of doing a pseudo marketing campaign for free, building that hype until it officially comes out and launches. But I'm excited for it. And this is another game that Xbox is releasing this year. In May, we're getting Doom: The Dark Ages, and Xbox has officially announced a bunch of limited edition collectible things here. I don't know why they don't do this with almost every game, but they don't. They're doing it with the big hitters. Doom: The Dark Ages is going to be one of the biggest games that releases this year on Xbox and everywhere else that you can play it. And they are releasing here a pretty good looking, just regular Xbox controller. And this is the limited edition Xbox wireless controller in battle worn green and silver, crowned with the 3D silver helmet spikes at the top and silver plated sheathing on two sides. This controller was forged for a demon slaying super weapon. So it looks good to me. I think it's actually a very, very nice looking controller. Then there is also the fact that if you do get this controller, you're going to get this skin in the game, this DLC skin that will come with it. Then they're also releasing the Doom, the Dark Ages, Xbox Elite Wireless Controller Series 2. So the Elite Series 2 with the Doom graphics on it and everything, which also looks good. I think personally that the regular controller looks better than the Elite Series 2, but that one still looks pretty decent. And they are doing a Doom wrap for the Series X. Remember those Doom wraps, or those wraps in general that Xbox announced with Starfield, and then they had a couple of other generic ones, and then they kind of just abandoned them? Well, it's back here with a Doom one, and I don't know why, again, they haven't done this with basically every single Xbox game. It does seem like a missed opportunity because, yes, Xbox releases a lot of controllers, but people love to collect those controllers, and if you release special ones with each game, people will go out and buy them. So it's cool that they're doing it here, but hopefully they continue this with other games that are coming out in the future. Like, I would love to see another Gears one. Hopefully they do one with Fable, all the stuff that is coming out. So some Doom collectible stuff that you're going to be able to go and buy. Next up here, we have the Xbox April update. Now, it isn't a huge update, but the big things are coming to the Xbox app. Some features that should have always been there, I think, and they're finally getting here, which just makes the seamless buying and purchasing and just controlling all the stuff that you own better. You can do it via the app now. That's what they're adding in here. They say here, we're excited to announce that one of the most requested features from the Xbox community is coming to the Xbox app. Players will soon be able to buy games and add-on content, join Game Pass, and redeem perks directly from the Xbox app on mobile. So you're going to be able to go in here, you can pre-order it, you can get it on Game Pass, you can sign up to Xbox Game Pass, you can redeem your perks and everything right through the Xbox app, which is nice. The other nice thing here, this is always good to see Xbox continuously adding games to this, which is the stream your own game feature that is now on the Xbox consoles. They're adding this as a feature to the console, but they're also adding some more games that are going to be going over, which is always great. So there's a list here of a bunch of stuff that is recently added. So we got Disney, Epic Mickey Rebrush, Kill It With Fire, Lego Marvel Superheroes, Lost Records, Bloom and Rage Tape 2, Monster Jam Showdown, Squirrel with a Gun, Subnautica 2, and Wander Stop. And then coming soon, there's an even bigger list here of games that are coming. So Agatha Christie Murder on the Orient Express, Amazon, The Explorer's Legacy, Barden Lynch Pro Surfing, Bratz Flaunt Your Fashion, Construction Simulator, Empire of the Ants, Mandragora, Paw Patrol Grand Prix, Paw Patrol World, Phantom Breaker, Battlegrounds Ultimate, Predator Hunting Ground, Spider Hex, Starship Troopers Extermination, Steep, Teardown, The Game of Life 2, Undisputed, Way of the Hunter, and Wizard of Legend 2. These are all being added here to stream your own games. These are very small games. So it's interesting to see that these are the first ones that are, I guess, opting into this feature, and you're not seeing bigger ones, but there are also some bigger ones on there, like Assassin's Creed Shadows and Final Fantasy games that can be used via this service. Square Enix supports it pretty well. Ubisoft supports it pretty well, but I would love to see more big publishers get in there and support the stream your own game service. Then there is this access Xbox Remote Play from more devices. That is another thing that they are adding in here. So I'm not sure which devices. I believe they say here, in addition to streaming from the web, players will soon be able to access Xbox Remote Play on more devices, including Samsung Smart TVs, Amazon Fire TV devices, and Meta Quest headsets. So that's cool. They're just making that experience the same across the board, that you're going to get access to all of the same features. And then you're going to have this here, free up space in My Games and Apps. And with the update, they are introducing a new and improved way to free up storage on all Xbox consoles. So in addition to displaying unused add-ons and shrinkable games, they will now include recommendations for removing duplicate copies of games and games that players no longer have access to. So they're just kind of making that better. Game hubs here. The new game hubs on Xbox console has arrived, which includes the relevant info about the game that you've selected. This is that thing that I think you have to enable for it to work. But it was that thing that before you launch into a game, it's going to give you a bunch of information, which I could already see people screaming that they don't want to press a button twice. But luckily, this is going to be something that I believe is optional if you do want to use it. So that is the update. It's not huge, but definitely features that are needed, and that will make the experience overall better. We are slowly getting to that place where no matter where you play Xbox, no matter what device, the experience is going to be the same, which is why I'm very excited for next gen with the handhelds and everything that will be coming out. All right. There is an announcement here for a new Frostpunk game. If you are a fan of the Frostpunk series, the game has been confirmed here for 2027. This was a part of the latest earnings report here from 11-Bit Studios. They say here, as a developer and publisher, we intend to diversify both the scale of our projects and their development timelines. This also means capitalizing on near-term, financially attractive opportunities. This underlies our decision to initiate production on the next project set in the Frostpunk universe, which we plan to launch as of early 2027. So if you're a fan of that series, a new one is coming, and they will be developing a new larger scale title planned to release in 2029. These games are far away, but they're just letting people know that they are working on them. I've never played the Frostpunk series. I've only ever heard good things about it. I believe these games have been in Game Pass as well, or in subscription service. So I wonder if that has improved the popularity from these smaller studios like 11-Bit. But good for them to be able to go out there and make another one. We have an update here on the Outer Worlds 2. We got to look at the worlds. There was a new firsts video, I believe, from IGN that came out, and they're ramping up the marketing year for the Outer Worlds 2. So you can bet this game's coming out relatively soon, and it's going to be obviously a huge showcase at the June Xbox showcase. But here is the video. I would definitely recommend going to watch it because the game is shaping up to look absolutely beautiful. I think this will be a nice jump from the first one, just with how good it does end up looking. But here's what we know about the Outer Worlds 2 and the expansive worlds. They say the different worlds and map sizes are way more expansive this time compared to the smaller areas in the first game. One of the most common feedback from players, which, yes, the first game, the areas were kind of tiny, but they were still, I think, well built and fun to play through. So I hope if they're bigger, it's very nicely built out. There's always things to find. They say lots of points of interest, loot, quests, things to discover in between the areas. The Golden Ridge on the moon of Dorado within the Arcadia system owned by the Protectorate faction, rich with resources, not teeming with life, poisonous water, and desert-like. The emphasis on all of the factions, their history with these worlds, their goals, etc. Intentionally design worlds to feel different from each other. No, oh, this is more of the same type of stuff here, which is great to hear. That's what you always want to hear. You don't want to keep doing the same things over and over again, which is a common complaint that a lot of games get. There are dense interior spaces, vastly explorable, allows players to go everywhere in true Obsidian design. And Unreal Engine 5 has allowed them to push more density, global illumination, lighting, easily prototype during production. So that's some more look at the Outer Worlds 2. I think this game is going to be better than Avowed, and I think it's going to be decently better than Avowed. I really do, just because the first one was very good, and it's from that team that they already have proven with the first one that they can make a great RPG, because Obsidian, I believe, has different teams working on these games. Avowed was good, but I think the Outer Worlds 2 is going to be far better, and I'm very excited for that showcase where they're going to give us a deeper dive, and we're going to be playing it this year. It's another great RPG we're going to be able to jump into day one on Game Pass and wherever else you want to jump in and play it. And finally, Canada. Canada keeps getting hit. I live in Canada, and we're getting hit with prices increases and stuff like that. We're getting hit again here with PlayStation Plus. And I've talked about PlayStation Plus over the last couple of months. I think PS Plus has absolutely improved. They've been getting a lot bigger games in their service. Yes, they don't have day one games like Xbox Game Pass has, but PlayStation Plus, if you only have a PS5, the subscription to their service, you're going to have tons of games. Like, I think it's worth it if you just want a large catalog of good games to play. There is a lot in there. But unfortunately, if you do live in Canada, the pricing is increasing. And it's increasing again. There's no real reasoning why. They're basically just saying to be able to bring more games to the service. But here it is. It says the price for a 1-year subscription has increased to $110 Canadian for the base essential plan. The extra plan that includes access to Ubisoft Plus Classics and the PlayStation Plus game catalog has risen to $190. This is yearly. And then the premium plan, which adds the Classics catalog, game trials, and cloud streaming, is now $225, which I believe that puts it pretty much on par with the pricing of Game Pass for an entire year. So you really have to ask yourself, if you're going to subscribe to the top tier of a service, I think PlayStation Plus is a very hard sell if you have that access to Game Pass as well. Just Game Pass is better value. You get more stuff with it. You get day one games. It's just better. And now PlayStation Plus is raising the price, and I think a lot of people will potentially start looking at that and comparing the two. They say the result increases to a 15.8% increase for Essential, 22.6% for Extra, and 18.4% for Premium. Sony has yet to make a public statement, but on their store's website and their updated emails that they've been sending to current subscribers, they say the new prices will go into effect for current members when it's time to renew their membership. So if you've canceled your membership recently because you were just going to wait until something came onto it that you wanted to play, well, you will be paying the new price. Fortunate, just the way things go, subscriptions generally always increase. We will see continued increase in prices in the next many years. I don't think this is the end, not just for PlayStation. I don't think it's the end for Xbox. I think Xbox will get another price increase at some point. Just take a look at the other subscription services out there in different entertainment like music and TV and movies. The prices go up as more content comes in, and they have to be able to sustain that content and pay for it. So it's the way it is. But yeah, those are the price increases right now for PS Plus in Canada. And this comes after they had just raised the prices in many other parts of the world. I will end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.